Okay, while we're getting set up, I have a bit of instruction. At the end of the puppet show, okay, when we get to the end, everybody, and that means everybody, you're all going to shout, Jesus, and then we'll all shout, He is risen, okay? Does anybody have any questions? You might want to know when the end is. But puppeting is like life. We don't know. Buenos dias, Kaya and Carly and Jack and Sam and Maddie, Matthew, Grace, everybody. How is everybody today?
Hi, kids. It's good to see you all here this morning. Say, Barnabas, how come you're so good at remembering names? I am so bad. I mean, if I didn't shout your name a dozen times a day for teasing me, I might even forget that. Oh, Barnabas.
It's because I use a system. Every time I meet someone new, I repeat his or her name 3 times in the initial conversation.
Oh, I tried that.
But then I also employ a reflexological method that I invented and intend to patent, by the way.
Reflexological?
Yeah, for each new person I meet, I assign them a spot on the bottom of my foot. So that later, when I see them coming, I simply stand on that part of my foot to stimulate it, and powie, their name pops right back into my brain.
Wow, that's weird.
Well, I'll show you. Father, see that guy that's always sitting right behind you? So close you might say he's encroaching on your personal space. Wait, let me get some pressure on my big toe. Oh yes, of course, it's Pastor Dave McCall.
You have assigned Pastor Dave to your big toe? What in heaven's name for?
Why? Because in reflexology, the big toe is the site for liver function. And he is a liver of an abundant Christian life. Not to mention the fact that he's got this great big liver spot starting to develop.
Maybe we should try someone a bit harder, at least someone who isn't already or used to be one of your best friends. How about that lady over there?
Wait, let me see. I'll press on my heel. Oh yeah, that's Betty.
And Betty is on your heel?
Yep, the site for the compunction function.
The compunction function?
You know compunction, as in anxiety, guilt, distress. And she always wears distress to church on Easter.
Okay. You've made your point now, Barnabas. Wait a minute. What is your point? What does this have to do with today's Bible story? The Easter story, I might add. The most important story of the church year, I might add. And the most important story in the entire Bible, I might add.
You might add better if you spent more time actually adding and less time might adding.
So what is your point? Assuming that you might have a point.
Well, I do. Part of today's Easter story is about Mary Magdalene. She was one of Jesus' closest friends and followers, but do you know what? She had a terrible memory for names. And for faces too, for that matter. She should have used my system.
Barnabas is right. He told me all about it. Mary Magdalene was the first one to get to see Jesus after his death and resurrection, but she didn't even recognize him. She thought he was the gardener or something. And then once she did recognize it was Jesus after all, she forgets his name. Instead of calling him Jesus, she calls him Raw Pony. Raw Pony. Talk about a bad memory. I know you're the Son of God and you've just risen from the dead and the world has changed forever, but I can't seem to place your name at the moment, so instead of calling you Jesus, I'll just call you Raw Pony.
Do you want to wait for later, or shall we get the inevitable public humiliation part over with right now?
Huh?
You two are so weird. Mary was simply using the Aramaic word which means teacher, or master, or rabbi. Rabboni, which is what Jesus' disciples often called him.
Wait just a minute.
What?
I'm standing on my instep.
To remind you that I'm more in step with biblical knowledge, ancient languages, and the East than you are.
To remind me not to step in all the self-importance that you're spreading around here.
No, Barnabas, this time Olivia is right. The point isn't that Mary didn't remember Jesus' name when she first saw him at the tomb. It's that with Jesus gone from their lives, she had become so confused and lost, she didn't even know who she was. She no longer had a reference point.
On her feet.
In her life.
Listen, then on that strange day, that marvelous day, that Easter Sunday, Mary had gone to the tomb to weep for the crucified Jesus. But there was this man standing there, alive, talking to her. What did it mean? Who was he? Who was she? And that's when everything became clear. Because he knew her. Mary, he said. Mary. And if Jesus knows who you are you not to know?
Carly, Jack, Sam, Maddie, Matthew, Grace, Zach. Jesus, He's alive. And now, is this a great Easter